your thoughts on Bunbury? I know you're here for a pre-season clash, but a little bit has changed and it probably looks a little bit different.
Yeah, well, they've put a couple more stands in, which will mean that more crowd can come, which is terrific, and I'm led to believe that the capacity is somewhere around 15,000, and they're coming from everywhere. Obviously, there's some locals that are coming to the game, but a lot of people are coming from interstate, which is terrific, and I'm sure Tourism WA will be wrapped with the response. And listen, to be fair, the city of Bunbury and this whole area has just grown so much. I came here 30 or 40 years ago. We went down to Margaret River, and it was very, very different back then. Still beautiful, but the development that they've done, the marina in town here, this oval, what they've done here, and then even the wider district, to get to lobby government to allow planes to fly into Bustleton is just really special. It's just going to open up this region to all of Australia, which is pretty special. So they're looking forward to the contest. West Coast Eagles, we played them in a trial game here early in the season, so both sides got a feel for the fantastic facility and the surface. Once again, a great credit to the city of Bunbury to put on such a fantastic venue. This is as good as any surface you're going to find around the league, which is a real credit to the city.
That was my next question. Is it AFL ready? Is it AFL proof?
Oh yeah, well even this fantastic facility here. We had some meetings in here this morning in preparation for the game, and the quality of the change rooms are outstanding. And as it continues to evolve, and hopefully this becomes a venue that's used frequently. It won't be every week, of course, but if this can become an alternative venue for the AFL, then they'll continue to add more stands and improve the facilities even more, so maybe the capacity of the ground can increase a little bit, because what we do know over here in the West is there's a great appetite to support AFL footy. They do that obviously at Optus Stadium, but what a great little venue to come down and play some footy, and that's why it had so much appeal to the Kangaroos, that we could play a game here for the next 3, and then who knows what happens after that.
Just in terms of the appeal for North, your club, obviously the Tassie deal's expiring, and this one now, how crucial was it for the future of the sustainability of the club in terms of the bottom line as well?
Yeah, well every club needs to work out the best mechanism to be able to generate their revenue to support their football program and other things that they're doing within the football club, and some do that by playing a lot of their home games at the MCG, and others are required to go interstate to find their alternate venues, and that's been the case with North. Hawthorn have done it for a long period of time. Obviously, I was strongly connected to that club for a fair period, and it worked really, really well for their club. So each to their own in terms of how they generate their revenue to support their club, and but this was a no-brainer for our footy club. As I said, really, really passionate supporter base. Historically, North have had a lot of players that have been very, very influential for the club that have come from the West. The Cracker brothers and Ross Glendenning and Graham Melrose. There's been a whole stack through the last 2 or 3 generations that have been great players for our club. So we've got a strong connection to the region, and as I said, the facility itself makes it very, very easy to come across here and play games.
With Tassie's team now potentially up in the air, is there a chance North Melbourne could go back to that deal after 3 years?
Well, I don't think so. We've signed a deal. Some of these questions are more for our CEO Jen Watt rather than me. But we've made a strong commitment. Our commitment was really, really strong to Tasmania, and despite all the noise this week, I'd be surprised if Tassie turned around and that they didn't become the 19th team in the competition. But there's a lot to play out there. But all we know is that we're committed to coming to Bunbury to play, and we'll see what happens after that. But we're pretty excited about making this work for our footy club as well as the supporters and people of Western Australia.
And is it correct the deal is $2.5 million a year to play 2 games here? So is it the same amount but half the games versus Tassie?
Yeah, and we'll probably take our other 2 games back to Melbourne. But once again, I'm not across the actual specifics of that. What I do know is we're coming here once a year, and our players have really embraced it in our club, and we're looking forward to putting on a great contest tomorrow.
How do the players like playing here versus Tassie? Obviously it's a little further to fly, but what about the rest of the conditions?
Yeah, well, it's sort of unique because we get an opportunity to stay here for the best part of 2 weeks. We'll obviously head up to Perth early in the week and get ourselves ready for the Fremantle game next week. But it's a great opportunity to get away as a footy club, usually you come in the day before and pretty much fly out the next day after the game. So this gives us an opportunity to actually fully embrace the community and the support that we've got here, and yeah, our players have really embraced it.
You've got some like tourism activities planned?
Sorry?
Will there be any tourism activities on the agenda?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure the players are pretty keen to just explore the area. And then when we get back up to Perth, sort of Monday or Tuesday, we'll give them some free time to have a look around, and they'll probably engage with the community a fair bit up there. But as you can see here, we want to embrace all the people that come and support our training session, and allow the kids to come out and have a kick on the ground with the players. So it's pretty special for the community here in Bunbury.
When you were at Hawthorn, you were able to make Tassie a bit of a fortress, not quite playing as many games out here, but I'm sure you're confident you can do something similar.
Yeah, well, hopefully by playing here on a regular basis, we get used to the ground and the facilities, and but the other side of it too is it's got goalposts at each end and grass somewhere in the middle, and you're chasing around a Tommy Sharon. So, but we'd like to think that we'll get used to playing here and really enjoy playing here and have some wins.
West Coast sort of improved over the last few months. What have you expected from them tomorrow for Melbourne?
Yeah, well, we played them here in the pre-season, and they were impressive that day. They knocked us off by a couple of points. There was a fair wind blowing that day, so the conditions were pretty difficult, and so we'll wait and see whether the wind blows up a little bit tomorrow. But they've been pretty impressive over the last month, and we've improved as a footy side too over the last month too. So we're expecting a really fierce contest between two sides that are investing in a lot of youth and in the future, and hopefully we'll see some of that on display by both sides tomorrow.
Teams have been looking to tag Harley Reid for the last month or so. He's been able to fight through those. Or something you look to do?
Yeah. Well, he's a very good player and just so powerful. And sometimes even if you've got a tag on him, he's able to fend. He used that fend off nearly as good as Dustin Martin. So, he's a really good player, an up and coming player for them. So, we'll have some plans in place. But they've got 22 others that are capable as well. So, we can't put all our focus into just one player.
What did you learn from playing there that first time?
Well, it was mainly just familiarisation, really, with not just the ground itself, but where we're going to stay and what the facility itself. So mainly it was just a dress rehearsal in March when we came here, just knowing full well that we're going to be coming here for at least the next 3 years. Come across, and there was a little bit of wind blowing that day, so we're not sure whether that's going to blow up tomorrow, like I said. So that assisted us in knowing that what sort of impact that can have on the game. So we'll see whether that transpires tomorrow. But the more that you can play here, the more opportunity you've got to familiarise yourself with the ground and play some better footy.
And the Eagles have got a few boys who played in the local league, and Liam Ryan's played with Wabba here on this ground before. Do you think that that's a disadvantage to North, that they've got some more experience here?
No, as I said, there's goalposts at either end and grass in between, and a Tommy Sharon to chase. So, if they'd have got that significant advantage, perhaps they would have won by a bigger margin when we played them earlier in the year. So, I think you just got to get out there, and it's 23 of ours against 23 of theirs, and we'll both give it a good shot.
The last 4 games have all been decided by single digits. Is it reflective of where the sort of teams are at in their pathways to hopefully rebuilding?
Yeah, perhaps. But it means it'll be a pretty exciting contest if it's the same tomorrow. And that's what we've tried to do as a footy side this year, that we've been better at than what we were last year, is that being in contests at three-quarter time and allow ourselves a chance to win games of footy. And we've been a little bit better at that this year. We'd like some of those to materialise into a few more wins for us, and we're hoping that will be the case in the second half of the year.
And did the bye come at a good time in terms of that to reset and hopefully propel and get some more wins?
Well, we had a pretty good 4 or 5 weeks leading into the bye in terms of competitiveness. Even the Collingwood game, you're only 3 points down at three-quarter time. We're obviously disappointed with the way that we finished that game, but they're top of the ladder for a reason. They're a very good side, and they've only lost twice for the year. So for us to be in that contest at three-quarter time was a pretty good effort. So we would like to continue to play, but probably the rest is good for us too. So we can reset, and got 12 games to go, and hopefully we can have it's really important that we have use the second half of the year to really launch ourselves into next year.
And you made the decision to bring back Griffin Lowe. How much of that came down to him being a local West Australian as well? Is that some of the edge you're hoping he might bring?
No, not really. It always comes down to form, but if everything else is equal, then you're probably going to pick the local over from somewhere else. But we've once again, just by luck more than anything, we've got 6 or 7 guys in our side that are all WA born and bred. So for them to be able to come home and not just have family that come and watch them play, which they do even when they're playing in Melbourne, but they've also got a whole network of friends and old coaches and that sort of stuff that'll come and watch them play. So pretty special.
Obviously, got the next 3 years here. Like, is this going to be a hunting ground for talent, some Joeys?
Yeah, well, listen, geez, there's lots of talent. Yeah, we met some of our guys were at a club yesterday that had 200 or 300 turn up to it, and we've been around the community a little bit over the last 24 hours, just meeting people in the community and the support in this district, and it's got a really rich history of providing exceptional talent for AFL footy as well. So whether that means that we can somehow recruit some of those guys somewhere in the future, but as I said, we've got 6 or 7 guys on our list that are Western Australian born and bred, and we'd like to add to that if the talent's here.
And how good is it for those WA players to have these 2 games in WA?
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's great for their families, particularly their mates and coaches and that sort of stuff. Schoolmates who perhaps wouldn't get the opportunity to watch them play over in the east all that often because it's so far away. But to come to Bunbury for this particular game and then Optus Oval next week to be pretty special for all those guys to have the support there.
And Riley Hartman is set to play his first AFL minutes in his home state. He wasn't able to play down here during pre-season, so he's excited to see him come out and play.
Yeah. Well, his folks do a lot of travelling, and they get across to most games that he plays, which is a real credit to them. But it'll be good that they can just come and watch him play in their home state rather than get on that plane and trek 4 hours across to Melbourne.